live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks so much for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Cheney. It is Wednesday, April 19th. We're going in depth tonight on a few different topics, including a lawsuit filed against the Alpine School District, the state's flood budget and where the money is coming from. Plus, I spoke with a group of BYU students rescued in a slot canyon, how they used their iPhone to contact emergency crews without cell service. But before we dive in, here's a look at what is making headlines tonight. Right now on our website, KUTV.com, an FBI agent who specializes in forensic evidence is on the stand today in the Lori Vallow Daybell murder trial. He's presenting a timeline of sorts, outlining Vallow's spending habits and how all of that coincides with the deaths. Also making headlines tonight, the Supreme Court will delay their decision on a medication abortion case until at least Friday. The justices must decide whether there should be restrictions on a specific drug that is used to end pregnancies. Also on our website right now, some housing news for you. New money for first-time home buyers here in the state of Utah. This week, the governor signed a program into law. You can get up to $20,000 for a down payment for closing costs for houses costing less than $450,000. I think there's a stipulation in there that says it has to be new construction. Head to that website to check out the article. It's a work zone awareness week, and the Utah Department of Transportation is reminding drivers to be safe in work zones. As the warmer weather comes our way, UDOT is ramping up construction projects, specifically on highways. So as we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us throughout the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive to join the conversation. We're pretty easy to find. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, occasionally on TikTok. Send me a message anywhere to weigh in. Well, parents in the Alpine School District make it official. They will take the district on and over to court over possible school closures. They believe the entire process needs to start over. Paul Nelson, kind enough to join us live tonight from Lehigh Elementary. Paul, what are the things that parents are most concerned about when it comes to this?
Well, they were saying that this whole process, Brian, was just illegally rushed. And what they mean by that is that realistically, when the school district started talking about the possibility of school closures, they claim that the district didn't officially name any until too late in the process. And that doesn't really give people enough time in order to kind of prepare for the next upcoming school year, just in case their school actually is closed. The other thing that they say that they've been giving a lot of feedback to the school district, and they just don't believe that the district is actually listening to them, and that's just highly frustrating for them. And so that's why they say they will take the district to court. They can't do it yet. They haven't filed a lawsuit just yet. They say they're getting more people who want to sign on as plaintiffs in this matter. So they say as soon as they get enough plaintiffs, they're going to go ahead and file it.
Paul, I've never lived in a state such as Utah where I've seen so many districts figuring out schools to close. Obviously, a lot of children here in the state, so they have some decisions to make. What did Alpine School District do to trigger this from parents? Can you take us back a little bit?
Yes, they actually started talking about how populations are changing and also just funding is changing, and so they are looking into the idea of closing down. There were 5 schools that were actually kind of mentioned: Sharon Elementary, Valley View. Earlier today, we were at Windsor Elementary, and here where we are right now, we're at Lehigh Elementary School. This is one of the schools that is possibly on the chopping block. They can't make that decision yet. They decided to continue studying this process, and they might make their decision in the next coming months. But as far as notification goes, they sent me a statement today saying that they have had 6 open houses on this matter. They've had a separate hearing. They've had 2 board meetings about this as well. And they also say they've received over 1,400 comments. So they believe that they are getting lots of input from the public.
Paul Nelson, live for us in Lehigh tonight outside of Lehigh Elementary School. Paul, thank you as always for being a part of 2 News Live. If you have a tip to share with our education team, call us at the number on your screen, 801-839-1199. That's 839-1199. Or you can use the email address, education@KUTV.com. We would love to hear from you. Let's go in depth now on something we've been talking about for months: flooding, flood risks, all of the above. Now on Tuesday, Governor Spencer Cox declared a state of emergency Wendy Halloran here to explain what that means. What does it look like?
Well, it's a good thing that he did, actually, because the Executive Appropriations Committee, the state legislature, appropriated $5 million for flooding mitigation, and guess what? All that money's gone.
Long gone. We had a feeling
Long
that was
gone.
going to go pretty quick based on sandbags alone at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this gives an emergency relief to where they can tap into millions of dollars, basically, and it also allows the state to apply for federal aid, from the federal government. But what's really interesting, I interviewed one of the Senate chair of this Executive Appropriations Committee today, and he was telling me that, the $5 million obviously wasn't enough, but it was unprecedented because that was a lot. They haven't funded that much before in the past. But they can take from other areas. So they can either, with the Senate committee members and the chairs, the governor, and then the House Speaker and the Senate President, without going back into a legislative session, they can tap into other funds. For example, the fire fund, fire fund, they can go into that, take money, they can move money around, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
It's kind of the same thing that UDOT is having to do with their plows and other things.
Exactly, with the snow removal,
Yep.
Absolutely. They can also, in other areas, they can go back into special session as well. They're hoping not to have to do that, but there is definitely money in there in the coffers. So,
Just quickly, what would that money do? When they get this money, what will they use it for? Because there's so many things that surrounds flooding. A resident out there probably watching, a person out there watching saying, do I get that money?
well, they would, absolutely, if they're affected by it. It would go to more sandbags and everything else as well, and if we have severe flooding here, hopefully we don't, but there is a likelihood, a strong likelihood of that. At that point, it would become disaster relief. You go from mitigation, which is prior to the catastrophic flooding that we could potentially have, into helping people recover from that. So that's what the money would go for.
Wendy Halloran diving into the declaration, basically the state of emergency that was declared earlier this week regarding flooding, and has more coming up tonight on 2 News at 6. Wendy, thank you.
You bet.
2 News has you covered this spring as our risk for flooding definitely continues. Download our 2 News app for breaking news alerts and issues around the state. And to see our past stories, we've done a number of them over the last few months about things that you and your family can do to protect your home and property. And Sterling, something that Wendy and I were just talking about, I actually talked to you about with the Division of Emergency Management, about take this time now, keep track of your belongings, take those photos, see if you can still get your flood insurance, because while you may get some of that federal relief, if you're a victim of flooding, it is not meant to be enough to rebuild your home.
Yeah, you have to take some action on your own to get some protection.
Yes.
And with temperatures like this, the good news is you've got some time.
We've got a little protection.
You've got some time. You've got about a week where temperatures going to be at or a little bit below normal, and so it doesn't look like we're going to see any major heat wave coming our way. And right now, look at these temperatures. We're in the 40s this afternoon. Let's get to the forecast. We'll show you what we've got going on. And with those temperatures in the 40s, as you can see, 63 down in the lower deserts in Page. It's 65 in St. George. But tomorrow is going to be a very similar day, so we'll have 2 days in a row where we're actually below normal for this time of the year, temperature-wise. And also it's windy. You can see the winds out of the northwest across the entire state. These are wind speeds, but they've been gusting higher than that around the Price area and Castle Country there. Increasing clouds tonight, rain and snow showers in the forecast on Thursday. And not to be outdone, more rain and snow showers in the forecast on Friday. So both days are going to be cool, unsettled, and it won't feel like April. Let's get to the forecast. That cold air is going to continue to stream in from the Gulf of Alaska. This is going to take some time to change the weather pattern, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen really fast. It does look like this storm system is going to slowly drift off to the northeast. A big snowstorm going on in the eastern plains of Montana and the northern Rockies. We've got some severe weather out here in the Mississippi River Valley, the Missouri area, Missouri River Valley, I should say, headed over to the Mississippi River Valley. Chicago's got some big storms moving through there right now, severe weather. And as you can see, the radar is lit up here in the northeastern part of Colorado, eastern Wyoming, and snow up in the Montana area. So tomorrow's highs, right, pretty much where they were today. 47 in Price, 50 in Richfield, 70 in St. George, 52 in Elko. And as far as the temperatures tomorrow here in Salt Lake City, notice this. snow showers, rain showers, then we're up to 48 by 5 p.m. in Salt Lake, and the winds will be out of the northwest, so it's not going to feel like 48, especially when those snow showers are coming down. So let's go through the timeline here with this. You can see this is 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Some snow showers here along the Wasatch Front, and they continue through the early afternoon, and then they finally leave around 5 o'clock. But then this is Friday. We have another very soggy day, it looks like, on Friday with more rain and snow showers and temperatures staying once again in the upper 40s, possibly low 50s. So we're also looking at through Thursday afternoon. Notice these strong winds out of the northwest, possibly a little bit of a downslope event going on in Castle Country tomorrow afternoon. So batten down the hatches a little bit and move the furniture and whatnot to where it's not going to blow around. Trampolines, 32 miles an hour in Moab right now, so it is pretty chilly. Here's the forecast for the next 7 days in St. George, 70 to 78. Earth Day looks nice. Sunday looks nice. Monday looks even better. And then Tuesday, perfect day, upper 70s, 81 on Wednesday. The winds kick in just a little bit. So that's a pretty quiet forecast for southern Utah. Salt Lake City, we're going to see it's a little bit breezy tomorrow with those winds out of the northwest. Some rain and snow showers, more possible showers on Friday. And then over the weekend, well, it does actually get up into the 50s on Saturday, and then 60s on Sunday. So 60s on Sunday will actually be normal for this time of the year. And then Monday, we're kind of climbing up a little bit towards 70. Like I said, Brian, 7 days where we're really not going to see any flood threats.
Well, I asked the folks in our control room here to pull up a live camera for us. I just wanted to look at some water for a moment. So thank you, Keely and Jeff, for pulling this one up. So obviously we're in Provo Canyon. I drove down this road today. Actually, I was up at Deer Creek Reservoir working on a piece. But no concerns in the area, but it's fascinating to go drive along this road and notice some of the avalanche slide paths, some of the debris. It's kind of like we always talk about Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon, but Provo Canyon also had it too. When do you expect this to change?
Well, when it spills.
Okay.
So right now it's controlled. This is all a controlled release from the dam.
Looks controlled to somebody who just drives by too.
If it gets high enough to spill, then it's uncontrolled, and that's when we could possibly see some problems.
All right, Sterling, thank you so much. Remember to download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. You can always get updated forecasts and some live radar right on your phone. Very easy to do. Grab your phone right now, scan the QR code. Be sure to download that 2 News weather app today. It is a free download. Could really come in handy. Even like I needed to use this app yesterday as those strong storms, those thunderstorms moved right through Salt Lake City. Caught me by a little bit of a surprise, but not when I looked at the radar. I knew it was heading our way. Tonight on 2 News at 10. They're on highways, they're on our neighborhood roads and parking lots. You know exactly what we're talking about. Our active winter has led to another ripple effect. Drivers dodging potholes all over the place. I've crushed a few myself, and it doesn't feel very good. Our Kristen McPeak goes on Pothole Patrol. She's working to get you answers. She has the important reason why it is not nearly as simple as some patchwork with asphalt. That's coming up tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. If you live in a neighborhood with some really rough roads, please let us know. I was really surprised being out on the west side past Salt Lake International on a road over there, and those roads were beat up. Scan the QR code. Send us your pictures, and that'll send an email over to Kristen McPeak as well. Her email address is on your screen, kmcpeek@sbgtv.com. We're going to get out to your neighborhood. We're going to ask some tough questions about why weren't these addressed. And we're going to talk to some folks out there and see what we can do to get those things fixed in your neighborhood. So last night, I spoke with a group of BYU students who went out for some canyoneering in the San Rafael Swell this weekend. They told me they studied this location. They told me they planned the route. They had a lot of necessary gear in case of an emergency. They even had someone ready to call for help if they didn't turn up by a certain time. That was 9 o'clock at night. However, they ran into some issues and they needed to call for help. Take a listen.
It was probably after we'd both been in the water for a few hours. There was one pothole before the place where we got stuck where Jeremy and I were in that water for, how long would you say?
45 minutes.
Yeah, about 45 minutes to an hour, just like trying to do a pack toss where you have your pack and you have a rope attached to it and you try to throw it up and over the lip and hope that it catches onto something. So then you can pull yourself out, because the area where we needed to get out was just way too deep for us to be able to go and like hoist him out.
I went into hypothermic shock and started panicking and freezing up. And these two saw me and became very concerned, obviously. So they tried to jump into the next pothole to try to get us through the canyon as quickly as possible. And it turned out that one was even more difficult than the one before. At one point we had, I think it was you were on his shoulders.
Other way around.
Or other way around. You were on his shoulders, and they couldn't even reach the top of it. That's how deep it was.
Yeah.
That was, and the water was up to their chests while they were trying to get out of it.
I had been in the water for maybe 3 hours at that point, with the hour in the first pothole, then 2 hours in this one. So that's when I started to get hypothermia.
The canyon we were in was probably about 500 feet deep of sheer rock walls, but about every 20 minutes, a satellite would line up with where we were in the canyon. And by holding the phone up, we could get a signal where we could text 911 to Emery County. And that's definitely saved our butts.
Yeah, so probably about the time when we started trying to send up the rappel, I had Jeremy trying to get a message to 911. And probably a half hour later, he was able to do it. He tried calling first and nothing. And so the iPhone 14, I don't know if you're familiar with their new SOS theme, but it's like you can send a text and just if any time a satellite aligns, then that text will go through and it will be shared with the emergency contacts. So that's how the other members of our group also were able to see all of our communications inside the canyon with
The sheriff's
with the
office.
sheriff's office
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think we were all glad that we had the training and we've taken the classes and had that preparation and went into it knowing that this might be a possibility. So I think if we went into it and we weren't expecting it and it happened and we didn't know how to do anything to get out and get communication, it would have been a lot worse.
Stay there. We're going to come back for you. We see you.
We know that so many people responded. Somebody quoted that 30 search and rescue volunteers responded. The county, the paramedics, all the way from Arizona to helicopter crews from Salt Lake City. We just want to give a huge thank you to all of the people who pitched in and saved us.
Yeah, like I really don't know what my condition would be right now if it wasn't for them and for getting us out. Like it was just such. It was like I mean, I'll be honest, I like straight up cried when I saw that helicopter there and they were saying, "Hey, we see you." Like, it's just, I just have so much gratitude for them. And I wish like I met them under different circumstances because they all seemed like very like awesome people.
3 BYU students now able to worry a little bit less about graduation coming up in a few weeks. So what does all of this mean to you? Well, if you have an iPhone, I want to show you something really cool. So Steven, who was one of the 3 there, brought his iPhone, was able to use the SOS text message feature to call out for help. So let's go in depth now on how this works, how this saved their lives likely, and how this technology could potentially save you if you get into that situation. So this works on iPhone 14 models with an iOS 16.1 or later. Now you can use the emergency SOS via satellite to text emergency services when you are outside of cell and Wi-Fi coverage. You can also find emergency SOS on your iPhone settings. You're able to create a medical ID, add emergency contacts. These guys use this in this situation. If you need emergency services, they always want you to try calling 911 first. Now, even if your cell network isn't available, iPhone will attempt to route the call through other networks. So, if the call doesn't go through, tap emergency text via satellite to text those emergency services. You can also go to the Messages app, text 911 or SOS, then text emergency services. Tap report emergency and then follow those on-screen instructions. Finally, to help you connect to a satellite, make sure to hold your phone naturally in your hand. You don't need to hold it up and really search for that signal. The phone should be sophisticated enough to try to connect you. After you're connected, your iPhone starts a text conversation by sharing information like your emergency contacts, your location, and even your iPhone's battery level. These were crucial in this instance. You can also share that information with your emergency contacts. Also, if you need more information, this is Apple's support website right here. This is how it looks. It walks you through exactly how to set this up. This website right here, we've also done some work on our YouTube channel. So if you've missed anything from this quick explanation, I put up about a 3-minute video walking you through how to use this. There's a demo feature on the iPhone 14 that shows you exactly how to use this feature. Typically, this group told me they would use a Garmin InReach or another satellite phone. This is what they brought instead. this was the reason they were able to get the help they needed. Let's show you what's trending right now on our website, KUTV.com. Looking through some of our top stories, at least the top story, right? Before we even get to the trending section, Chris Jones and I spoke about this story yesterday right here on 2 News Live. This was a story he brought to you last night. Vanguard Academy, the charter school, has been given another clock extension to fix some of what they're calling deficiencies. Heavily tied to the polygamous community, certain donors and people that work in the school. They fixed 1 out of 5 of those deficiencies. There are 4 left to fix. They gave them a 6-month extension. Right now, trending on our website, KUTV.com, the story we told you about last night, one of 2 crashes we were telling you about on the news last night. This one, I-80 westbound Tooele, where a UHP trooper basically went head-on with a wrong-way driver, likely saved many others behind him. We're hoping to hear from that trooper coming up in the coming days. Luckily, no major injuries to that trooper. And if you'd like to learn more about this incident, we've got a full website full of these stories, but also this full article right there to share more with you right now if you'd like to check it out. Remember, all of these stories are on our KUTV mobile app, which you can download on your Apple App Store or Google Play. Very easy to find, very easy to use. So be sure to download that app today to get connected. That'll do it for us. Thanks for watching 2 News Live. Any final thoughts?
Grab a coat if you're going out tonight. You're going to need it tonight and tomorrow. Some snow showers moving in tomorrow morning. We'll have an update on that tonight on 2 News at 10.
Part of that gradual warm-up we're hoping for.
Very gradual right now.
Thank you, Sterling.
Yeah.
We're here Monday through Friday, 5:30. We hope you join us again for more of these in-depth conversations. For Sterling Polson, I'm Brian Schnee. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. We're back tomorrow. It's almost Friday. We're getting there.
See you guys.